celebrate Christian unity during an audience at the Vatican held in the context of a week of prayer for Christian unity. The Holy Father welcomed the representatives of Lutheran, Orthodox, and Catholic communities from Finland, highlighting their shared witness to faith, fraternity, and cooperation in the pursuit of the common good. We have a Rome report being read in our studio by Fales Chizombe.
Speaking after the meeting, Bishop Laimo Gairola of Helsinki said the Pope's words reflect a lived reality in the Nordic country. He described Finland as a place where ecumenism is deeply rooted in friendship and mutual respect. Bishop Gaiola, who has served the Church in Finland for over 20 years and was appointed Bishop of Helsinki in 2023 by Pope Francis, expressed gratitude to God for the steady growth of the Catholic community in the country. He noted that despite the Church's material poverty, there has been a remarkable spiritual fruitfulness, including what he believes to be the highest number of adult baptism in the history of the Catholic Church in Finland last year. While Catholics represent only a small minority, around 0.2% of the population, the bishop emphasized that the Church's diversity is a sign of its vitality. He explained that the Catholic community is made up of faithful from more than 120 nationalities, including many immigrants and refugees. Despite existing within an affluent society, Bishop Gaiolola underlined the paradoxical reality that the Finnish Church is among the poorest in Europe, with limited resources and significant practical challenges faced by its parishes. At the same time, he highlighted the strength of ecumenical cooperation in Finland, pointing to the effectiveness of the National Council of Churches, which brings together different Christian denominations for regular meetings, prayer, and joint initiatives at both national and local levels. It was within this spirit of dialogue and collaboration that the Finnish delegation met with Pope Leo XIV, bearing witness to a shared Christianity commitment to unity, lived faith, and mutual support among believers.
At St. John of God have been reminded to live and work like the disciples of Jesus Christ by demonstrating loyalty, compassion, and unity as they carry out their duties. The call was made during Angular Day celebrations, a special occasion that honors commitment and service within the institution. Speaking during the celebrations, Father Norbert Kashija emphasized that service at St. John of God is more of a calling, urging workers to support one another as companions in service, guided by love, dedication, and a shared mission of caring for the vulnerable. Emmanuel Georgia with the details.
In his homily, Father Kashaija reflected on Mark 3, verse 13 to 19, where Jesus called his disciples to serve others without fear or favor. He challenged workers to remain faithful to their calling and to serve the sick and marginalized with compassion and humility. Father Kashaija encouraged staff to emulate the example of Anguro Juan de Avila, highlighting the law of religious staff and co-workers who continued to mission of hospitality. He noted that many workers sacrificed personal time and often work behind the scenes to ensure patients are safe, cared for, and not neglected. Pastoral coordinator at St. John of God, Christopher Mtonga, urged workers to remain loyal and faithful to their profession. He encouraged them to emulate Anguro by upholding integrity, teamwork, and commitment in their daily responsibilities. As part of Anguro Day celebration, workers received gifts in various categories, including Outstanding Performer. Paulina Kaunda emerged as the outstanding performer, expressing joy and gratitude for the recognition. She said the achievement was as a result of teamwork and encouraged fellow workers to live like Anguro in their service to others.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Almighty God for the gift of life and for the gift of these awards. I know it's His grace. It's not that I'm so capable of receiving this, Yeah, I would also like to thank the organization for appointing me. I don't take this for granted. Yeah, and to my fellow workers, I would just encourage them that they should work wholeheartedly. Yeah, sometimes you don't know your capabilities. Your friends are the ones who knows that you do the best.
The Anguro Day celebration concluded with a renewed call for co-workers at St. John of God to remain united in the service, faithful to their mission, and committed to providing compassion, care, in line with the values of Christ and the example of Angulo. For Luntha TV in Milongwe, this is Emmanuel Chuocha.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization, Joseph Mwanamveka, has expressed optimism over continued support from the donor community as government finalizes the 2026-2027 budget preconsultations following positive engagements with development partners who have committed to back key reforms in priority sectors. Mwanamveka made the remarks during a pre-budget consultation meeting with the donor community and development partners held at the Bingu International Convention Center, BICC in Lilongwe on Friday, January 23rd. More details in this report for by Gift Kalonga.
Mwanamveka said the pre-budget consultations demonstrate government's commitment to transparency and inclusiveness in formulation of the 2026-2027 national budget, noting that input from development partners is critical in addressing the country's economic challenges. He said Malawi's economy continues to face pressure from foreign exchange shortages, high inflation, climate-related shocks, as well as energy and infrastructure constraints, which have significantly limited fiscal space. Mwanamveka added that government is implementing economic reforms, including measures to broaden the tax base, promote exports and local production, and manage public debt, expressing optimism that donor support will help deliver a strategic and people-centered budget.
To us, it is very important because the donor community is also one of our strategic partners in the implementation of the budget. So today, I'm glad to report that we had a very good meeting with the donor community. All the donors have committed to support the Malawi government, and also they support the reforms that government is undertaking. For the specific issues, we'll be meeting them. We'll be discussing with the donors, and we are quite hopeful that the donor community will support us so that we have a very strategic and successful budget of 2026-2027.
German ambassador to Malawi, Ute Konge, expressed admiration for the steps the government is taking to transform the economy. She said she was impressed with the reforms and commitment shown during the pre-budget consultation and reaffirmed German's support for Malawi's economic transformation agenda. Meanwhile, the Malawi government has assured Malawians of its commitment to promoting exports as a key strategy to grow the economy. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
Minister of Homeland Security Peter Mokito has disclosed that the country's passport issuance delays originated from a contract signed in February 2025 between the government of Malawi and the Madras Security Printers of India, which required a 60% upfront payment amounting to $17.9 million United States dollars to enable for mobilization and installation of the passport printing system. Mokito made the remarks on Friday as he provided an update to the nation on key security-related concerns, including delays in passport issuance, corruption within immigration services, human trafficking, and rising road accidents involving bus operators during a press briefing held in Lilongwe. Judith Ogano with the details.
It said corruption is a major contributor to delays in passport processing, adding that his ministry has directed immigration to produce at least 2,000 passports per day. He warned that any officer involved in corruption or human trafficking will face the law without exception. Mukito also addressed rising Kabaza accidents, saying government is working with relevant stakeholders to find solutions that improve road safety while protecting livelihoods.
I thought it is very, very important for the ministry to work hand in hand together with members of the public, because we as a ministry, we are there to serve members of the public. And amidst the members of the public, we have put up a mechanism to listen to their voices. And what we have heard mainly is about the concerns about the issue of the passports, the issue of the Kabaza, and several issues, of course, the issue of corruption. So when we start engaging, we thought it is very, very important for us, again, to go back to the people to give them an update. Because if you look around, you see that there's quite also a rise in terms of mob justice.
Meanwhile, Director General of Immigration, Dennis Chipao, said the department is implementing the minister's directives to reduce a passport backlog of over 135,000 applications accumulated over time. Chipao said the department has strengthened internal controls, reactivated integrity committees, and enhanced disciplinary measures to curb corruption within immigration.
Maybe others work at overnight and work in shifts, so that they should be able to reduce the backlog, given all the resources that have arrived. Because sometimes sometimes there may be some challenges in terms of transportation and other logistics, issues of travel. But once these machines are here back in Malawi and they're operational, we should be able to clear this backlog within a very short period of time. Our officers, they are more than ready to work day and night.
Government has since warned that corruption, abuse of office, and involvement in human trafficking will not be tolerated, emphasizing that it is equally addressing road safety concerns involving Kabaza operators through the establishment of a joint task team to enforce regulations, improve rider training, and enhance public safety nationwide. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Judith Ogan.
You're watching news on Luntha Television. Now a reminder of the top stories. Pope Leo XIV praises Finnish delegation for its ecumenical model during Pope visit. Government expresses optimism over donor support for 2026-2027 budget. Ministry of Homeland Security links passport delays to $17.9 million United States dollar India contract. And in this week's exclusive report, Thandiwe Mzumala examines how Malawi and Nigeria regulatory authorities' decision to raise fuel prices has rekindled cost of living concerns, raising fresh doubts about the government's commitment to economic recovery. Moving on with the news, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Brighton Saka, has commended Indian Resources Limited for its contribution to the education sector through the provision of essential learning resources and the improvement of school infrastructure. The minister made the remarks on Friday in Balaga at Kangankundi Primary School during the launch of a project Early Learning, a corporate social responsibility initiative by the mining company aimed at ensuring that benefits from the Kangankundi mine development reach the local community from the earliest stages. Andrew Nandolo with the details.
Minister of Education Honorable Brighton Saka, ACC, said the high standard of school that Lindian Mining Company is constructing is a manifestation of promoting quality education, as it is the wish of the government that every child should be in school. Saka praised the company for not only constructing a primary school in the area, but also for its commitment to provide textbooks and uniform to all future learners, a move expected to enhance access to quality education.
This is the kind of investment that a company that is serious-minded and is thinking of corporate social responsibility should do. This is a very good example of what needs to be done. This is different from the mango tree companies that come to invest here, or briefcase companies that come to invest here, and they think their only corporate social responsibility is to put money in the pocket of one individual. No, this is the investment to the community that we expect. I want to say thank you very much to Lindian for this quality school that they have given us. We are happy that Lindian Mine has decided to start with education, which is the key to our future. As I said, His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika firmly believes that investment in education is the surest investment for this country, because that's what's going to save us without doubt in our future. I didn't say much because there's a lot that the company has done. Look at this netball court. Then we also heard that they're going to give every child a textbook for the subject that each one is taking in their class. That's a lot of investment. They also said, which is quite extraordinary, that they'll be providing uniforms for every child that comes to this school. I can't imagine this school will be full very soon, everyone wanting to come here.
In his remarks, Rob Martins, who is the board chairperson for Lindian Mining Company, said his company is constructing a high-standard primary school at Kangankundi in Balaka as corporate social responsibility to make sure every child attends education. He said it is company's wish that they should construct a secondary school.
So for the local community, we're actually going to put aside 0.5% of our profit annually that goes directly to the community. So they will then work on a committee to split that up into the community, which could be millions of dollars. So, you know, we're not obliged to do that under our mining licence, but we will certainly do it. Community's everything. We're in your community operating a mine, and there needs to be benefits for everybody. If there's not a benefit for the community, they're not going to support it. We need to show that mining done sustainably, done professionally, done properly, with community in mind works well, and this is the forefront of that. You know, being able to build a school for the kids in the local community is what we can do if this thing is successful, and it will be successful. It'll be there for 200 or 300 years. So if we do it right at the start and we set the framework for doing things right, that's the way it'll be done.
Speaking on behalf of his fellow direct beneficiaries, Chifundo Banda, a Standard 8 learner, thanked Lindian Mining Company for the school and promised to take care of it for future learners to benefit.
zimene zimasopa sikulu pano zimene atipangira mabuloko ena analonongeka komanso ofesi yathu sinalokhala bwino komanso anthu ena amakhala pasi koma kubwera kwa Lindian kwasintha zinthu pakana malo ano.
Recently, Lindian Mining Company also constructed Kankao Police Unit and a road from Kangankundi turn-off in the M1 to the mining site. Reporting from Balaka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
Human Rights Watchdog Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative said it in collaboration with the Citizens League and concerned residents around Gerardo Trading Center in Tigwawa has announced the plans to hold a video of alleged environmental pollution by Prescan Limited. According to CIDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa, the video scheduled for next week Thursday is intended to pressure the ethanol producing company to address the discharge of effluent affecting nearby communities. Namiwa said that the company has over the years been failing to comply with Environmental Management Act of 2017 by posing a health threat to the surrounding communities. Our reporter Constance Kantemeni caught up with Namiwa.
It is a notice. As per the Police Act, we intend to commence videos at Prescan Limited premises. We would like to force the company to begin to realize that those people living within its Venus Pond have got a right to live in clean and safe environment as per the wording and the dictates of the Environmental Management Act of 2017. We also want to remind them that by the virtue of being human beings, those communities are supposed to be treated with respect and dignity. For the past 10 years, these people have endured a very bad smell, damaged the iron sheath, damaged the environment, including damaging the crops. In fact, a lot of people are complaining of strange illnesses.
The Rotary Club of Lilongwe, in collaboration with FDH Bank, has launched a tree planting initiative in Lilongwe targeting 10,000 trees valued at 18 million kwacha. Speaking during the exercise conducted along Chilima Highway and Youth Drive, Rotary Club of Lilongwe President George Napambo said the initiative is aimed at supporting environmental conservation efforts in the city. Patrick Popper with the details.
Nampando explained that the tree planting exercise is intended to complement Lilongwe City Council's efforts in addressing the effects of climate change. He added that the club plans is to plant a total of 10,000 trees during the current planting season to promote environmental sustainability.
So this initiative is an initiative that we do on a yearly basis. We try to plant trees every year based on some of our goals, which is protecting the environment. This is one of the areas where we focus in as a Rotary Club and Rotary clubs across the world. Today we plant close to almost 1,000 or so, but in total we have about 10,000 trees, which were sponsored by FDH Bank. We're not just planting here along the Saulos Chilima Highway, but we also have several schools where we have identified and where we'll be planting these particular trees.
Meanwhile, Lilongwe City Council Environmental Officer Cedric Tambala commended the Rotary Club of Lilongwe for the initiative, describing it as a major boost to the city's environmental conservation goals.
It is very significant. As Lilongwe City Council, you know, there were some trees that were removed to pave way for the construction of Chilima Highway. And a lot of people were worried at that time. So why are we removing the trees? So as the Council of Lilongwe, we are very excited to ensure that we replant the Mbawa trees that we lost through that development project. And we are also excited for our partners of Lilongwe Rotary Club that they have joined hands with the City Council in making sure that we restore the vegetation that we once lost.
During Friday's exercise, Rotary Club of Lilongwe planted 1,000 trees along Chilima Highway and Youth Drive. Lilongwe City Council is targeting the planting of 40,000 trees during the ongoing rainy season. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Popper.
The Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority MELA has hiked petrol and diesel prices by more than 40%, marking the second fuel price increase in 4 months. In a statement on Tuesday, MELA said the fixed pricing system introduced by the previous government was unsustainable and had resulted in significant financial losses. Although President Peter Mutharika has been working to revive Malawi's struggling economy since returning to power last year, local commentators warned that the latest fuel price hike could undermine these efforts and further deepen the cost of living crisis facing many Malawians. In this week's exclusive report, Tandiwe Mzumara examines how MELA's decision to raise the fuel price has rekindled cost of living concerns, raising fresh doubts about the government's commitment to economic recovery. Let's watch.
According to MERA, the price of petrol has increased by nearly 42% to 4,965 Malawi kwacha per litre, while diesel has risen by about 41% to 4,945 kwacha per litre. Fuel is a key driver of prices in Malawi, with direct impacts on transport costs, food distribution, and electricity generation. Public transport operators in most parts of Lilongwe have already raised fares.
Kutoka pano pamponera kale timalikira ndalama okwanira 5,000 6,000 kotero kuti apa mmene mafuta nduna fotokoza kuti mafuta akwera ndiyoti tikumalizira 8,000 kupita Lilongwe mponera ya ndiyeno ndimene mujanina fotokozera kuti tinazolera kale mu nyumba yoluma kotero kuti tere mmene zuma khaliramo basi tinazolera nangatipanga bwanji boma ndi limeneli nangatipanga bwanji tafa kale ifa Malawi.
Ndo mwe aja akale aja ndino kuti tikwezefe tabwereka so budget yawo as a result and ajesa kumatani samakwera simagalimo amafuna matola amene sama amatenga so matola na magambo sapo ampoma chifoti mafuta ngaulele ampoma.
As the fuel has been increased, we charge according to the increase of the fuel, because fuel determines the prices, determines the charges of our affairs.
President Professor Peter Mutharika, who returned to power last year, pledged to revive the country's ailing economy through reforms aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability and boosting investor confidence. However, analysts argue that the fuel price hike could undermine these efforts by eroding purchasing power and intensifying public frustration. Economic Association of Malawi ECAMA President Bertha Shigadza says the increase risks fueling inflation at a time when many Malawians are still struggling to recover from economic shocks caused by foreign exchange shortages, climate-related disasters, and a weak kwacha.
Adjustment might also add some pressure on inflation, especially the non-food inflation, even though there is actually an easing of food inflation because of the depressed maize prices.
Describing the fuel price adjustment as a decision with far-reaching consequences for ordinary citizens, Consumers Association of Malawi ECAMA Executive Director John Capito has urged authorities to reconsider the move, saying Malawians need leadership that cushions its people rather than shifting hardship onto them.
So that the market is clean and the people are not as unscrupulous as they have always been. We don't want people that will take advantage of the poor. It's because of fuel. People have suffered a lot already.
Civil society organizations have also called on the government to reconsider targeted interventions, including transport subsidies, social cash transfers, and tighter monitoring of unjustified price hikes by traders.
And now, all the reasons have been cited, but we agree with Malawians that upward adjustment means more pain, more misery to Malawians.
The top, and also urging government, to look at the issues of fuel and some taxes that will infringe Malawians, that will hit Malawians hard in terms of basic needs and the transport.
During a press briefing on Tuesday, Mayor Acting Chief Executive Officer Dad Chintambi defended the decision, saying fuel prices were not adjusted as required during the Chagora administration. He said this resulted in inadequate fuel imports and failure to remit levies meant for road maintenance and rural electrification.
The authority firmly considered the plight of the lowest, maybe the lowest earning citizen, but at the same time, the absence of the product is putting us in a much worse situation.
Supporting Mayor's position, Minister of Energy and Mining Dr. Jean Matanga said the fuel price increase was a necessary measure to curb fuel smuggling and protect Malawi's limited foreign exchange reserves. According to Dr. Matanga, fuel prices in Malawi had remained significantly lower than those in neighboring countries, creating incentives for cross-border smuggling.
Zinapangitsa kuti dziko lili ziyenda mwachibwana kama chizungu pana kuti we are trading dangerously. Funikira ndithu kuti mitengo yamafuta ilongosoke tithe kumakhala ndi mafuta okwana ena tikasunge kunkhokwe tikhale nawo okwana kunkhokwe kupangira pamama.
Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka also said the upward adjustment of fuel prices will enable the government to implement development projects more effectively.
Do is to stabilize the economy and make sure that there is forex in the banks, and also that people don't go to the black market, they go to the banks. When we do that, I can assure you the prices of goods and services will come down. We have discussed with our cooperative partners to increase cash transfer, those that we normally give to those that are in need. We have agreed to increase the number of beneficiaries. We have also agreed in terms of the amount we give each beneficiary.
Meanwhile, a recent study by Business Insider Africa has found that fuel prices in Malawi are among the highest on the African continent when compared to other countries.
That exclusive report, followed by Tandiwe Mzumala, also brings us to the end of our today's edition of news. But let's have a recap of the top stories before we go.
Pope the 14th praises Finnish delegation for its ecumenical model during Pope visit. Government expresses optimism over donor support for 2026-2027 budget. Ministry of Homeland Security links passport delays to $17.9 million United States dollar India contract. And in this week's exclusive report, Tandiwe Mzumala examines how Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority's decision to raise fuel prices has rekindled cost of living concerns, raising fresh doubts about the government's commitment to economic recovery.
You've been with me, Charity Chilanga. Thanks so much for giving me company, and continue enjoying the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Have a lovely weekend.